现在那个老外街啊，你们看一个规定哦，现在抵押贵太交关，贵特低哦，应该人啊嘛，已经不复往日荣光了。
这里是上海老外街，冷冷清清哦，没人哦，一点人气都没有。
Lao Wai Street, situated on Hongmei Road in Shanghai, gets its name from the Chinese word Lao Wai, which means foreigner. As the name implies, this place used to be a major hub for foreigners to hang out and socialize. This street features triple 70. 70% of store owners are foreigners, 70% of consumers are foreigners, and 70% of store revenue comes from family gatherings. It was once a vibrant place, filled with the cheerful voices of foreigners. But now, as the two ladies mentioned, a mass exodus of foreigners from Shanghai has stripped this place of its former hustle and bustle, rendering it eerily quiet. As China's largest economic and financial center, Shanghai was consecutively ranked as the most attractive city for foreign talents in China for 8 years. People from all over the world used to live, work, and even get married and raise families here. Early 2022 data indicated that approximately 460,000 foreigners from 47 countries lived in Shanghai. The city welcomed over 2 million temporary foreign visitors each year, and the number of work permits issued to foreign elites exceeded 50,000. According to the Bureau of Statistics, by the end of August 2021, Shanghai had attracted more than $270 billion in foreign investment and housed 61,090 foreign enterprises. But this situation was first disrupted by the 3-year COVID-19 pandemic. Especially in March of last year, the humanitarian disaster caused by the lockdown of Shanghai led to a significant number of foreigners choosing to flee and expressing their reluctance to return. Subsequent geopolitical tensions and the uncertainty arising from such events followed, especially when China's newly revised Counter-Espionage Law came into effect on July 1st. Expanding its scope to include broader interpretations of violating national security standards and granting the government more power in conducting searches, detentions, and implementing personal travel bans. This has left foreign residents in China feeling even more unsafe. Many foreign investors now feel that the conditions for a long-term investment in China are no longer as favorable as before and have chosen to withdraw. This, in turn, has affected the willingness of foreigners to live in Shanghai. As a result, the city's foreign population is visibly decreasing. The following video shares a Shanghai resident's true feelings.
Honestly, have you noticed fewer foreigners around when you walk down the streets these days? I've been living here and used to see people from all around the world, whether in my neighborhood or out on the streets. We would see a lot of foreigners when dining out or shopping, but now the number has dwindled. This is my genuine observation. My father came to visit me yesterday and asked, "Have you noticed fewer foreigners around here?" This does affect us in some way. Take the rental market, for instance. Places where many foreigners lived, such as Fu Sing Middle Road, Sainan Road, or Huai Hai Road, now have a lot of vacant properties, as they can't be rented out. Landlords have had to reduce prices. For example, properties that used to rent for $25,000 per month can now only fetch $20,000, and if still not rented, the price is dropped to $15,000. And some landlords are even willing to go as low as $10,000. Those who used to spend $10,000 on rent elsewhere are now thinking, why don't I rent a place on Huai Hai Road for the same price? As a result, local residents are reshuffling. When foreign investments withdraw, many employees are laid off. What can they do? They become couriers or ride-hailing drivers, causing these sectors to also experience fierce competition. But there's no other choice now. This is just the way it is.
Foreign capital has withdrawn, foreigners have left, and even China's wealthy individuals, as well as the elites who once worked in foreign companies, have immigrated in large numbers. The sector most affected is the real estate market in Shanghai, particularly the expensive properties in the tens of millions price range. Listings have soared while transactions are extremely sluggish.
The biggest anomaly this year is the transformation of Shanghai. Many foreigners are gone and foreign enterprises have left too. The rich in Shanghai are quietly fleeing. They're all selling their properties, cashing out, and escaping from Shanghai. There are too many listed condo units worth 10 million, 30 million, 50 million, reaching a historic high. Why are all these rich people leaving? Any of these units could easily cost tens of millions, and there are many business owners in mid to high-end communities. Given recent news like real estate loan interest rate cuts, could these rich individuals have known some insider information in advance?
The Bund in Pudong is known as the most expensive area in Shanghai, with the Bund International Business Center, Shanghai Oriental Sports Center, and higher concentration of foreign residents. The Bund's Taiko Li is particularly home to many Japanese residents. However, it's now practically deserted, losing its past glory. This video shows a real estate agent from the Bund area of Shanghai who didn't manage to sell a single home in July.
Some people have been saying that if this situation continues, real estate agents will be forced into a tight corner. To correct that, they are already in a tight corner. If it continues, they will hit rock bottom. All you bosses out there, the current temperature is 38 degrees, but the real estate market is like minus 38 degrees. Today is July 23, and the transaction volume for pre-owned homes in the Bund this month is still 0. Do you know how many real estate companies are there in the Bund? 7? There were 12 during the peak period. 5 have closed down, a total of over 200 real estate agents. Not a single purchase in July. Last month, only 3 homes in the Bund were sold, and their selling prices have dropped significantly compared to 2021. This phenomenon is not only happening in the Bund, but is also similar across all regions of Shanghai.
Shanghai's dining, service, and retail industries have also been significantly impacted. Minglu Chuan, a high-end Sichuan restaurant in Shanghai, known as the ceiling of Sichuan cuisine, with an average per-customer consumption price of over 2,300 yuan, officially closed at the end of June this year. It had been open for less than a year when it sadly announced its closure, drawing a wave of sighs in the industry. On July 13th, the IKEA store in downtown Shanghai announced plans to close by the end of the year. This is another store closure in China by IKEA, following its Guiyang store and Yangpu store in Shanghai. When the store opened 3 years ago, customers queued in long lines. It even managed to weather 3 years of the pandemic, only to close after reopening. The official reason given was that this store, as a pilot, has basically completed its current mission. But the rumored real reason was that the customer spending was insufficient, foot traffic decreased, and the main product sold to customers in the store was the 1 yuan ice cream cone. With the high rent in the city center, the store was not making ends meet, leading to the closure. The man in the video shot a scene of Shanghai streets. At first glance, almost all of the shops are closed and out of business. These include popular restaurants, tobacco and liquor stores, gyms, grocery stores, etc. This situation has made it impossible for many workers to continue living in Shanghai. The decline of Shanghai is also reflected in the disappearance of its nightlife. Many now remark that Shanghai's nights are becoming increasingly quiet. The once brightly lit, vibrant districts that stayed open all night are now all closing their doors just past 8:30 in the evening.
It feels like Shanghai is losing its nightlife, becoming quieter as the night goes on. The nights in Shanghai used to be lively, particularly with many shops along the streets offering food, drinks, and shopping. Now, just past 8:30, the shops start preparing to close, becoming very quiet.
My location is on a commercial street in Boshan District, Shanghai, known as the Oriental International Trade. As you can see, it's 8:40 in the evening. When I first arrived and saw this situation today, I couldn't believe this was happening in the great Shanghai city. As you can see, it's still so early, and there's barely anyone on the street. This is a commercial street where there are more shops than people, and most of them are running at a loss. It seems that the economy this year is indeed not optimistic.
Recently, a series of trade fairs held in Shanghai received feedback from exhibitors that the events were barely attended. Not only were there no foreigners, but even domestic customers were missing. The success or failure of these trade fairs could reflect the industry's situation in the near future.
那么大的上海展销会，产能过剩，制造业的春天没有了，所有的东西没有什么经验，没有什么创新，大家都是老一套。没有人，完蛋了。
Too few visitors. Not exhibiting feels like missing a huge opportunity. Exhibiting feels like coming to see peers, and after seeing them, finally feel relieved that everyone is the same. Starting a trade show is like throwing hundreds of thousands into the water. Not a single customer, just a bunch of uncles and aunties eating and drinking for free. It's just miserable. So miserable.
Recently, an article titled "Shanghai Falls in This Situation, We Are All Very Sad" went viral online, pointing out that many shops in Shanghai's once bustling streets are now closed. The scene is desolate, and is the epitome of a family in decline, which resonated with many. However, the article has now been deleted. This article was published on July 22nd by a local Shanghai self-media outlet, Qiang One Man Show. The article starts with, "I know it may cause dissatisfaction, but I still want to say, seeing what Shanghai is like now, I'm inexplicably sad." The author, while showing a friend from out of town around Shanghai, witnessed the current situation at Hongqiao Station, Nanjing Road Pedestrian Street, and Shanghai Railway Station, which made him sigh with sadness. The author mentioned that in his previous article, "When I got to Hongqiao Station, I realized that Shanghai is really out of money." He pointed out that shops on both sides of the station's passageway were closing, with locks hanging high, and no longer had the lively atmosphere of the past. But the lobby was crowded and unbearably hot. Hongqiao had economized to the point where they can't even afford to turn on the air conditioning. The article narrates the depressing state of the once vibrant Nanjing Road Pedestrian Street in Shanghai. The grand entrance of the massive plaza is now desolate, hiding under the cover of upgrading and renovation. Only the top few floors are operating, attracting few visitors. The author wanted to dine at a restaurant on the 6th floor, but found the escalator leading to the 2nd floor out of service. And beyond that, the escalators to the higher floors were also shut down. The only option was to trudge up the stationary escalator. Could it be that even the cost of running escalators has become a burden? The author also pointed out the most poignant sign of decline was the closure of the renowned store Meters Boinwi on Nanjing Road. Its main entrance was tightly sealed, with metal frames exposed. Faded signs were faintly visible, while ugly electric wires dangled loosely in the air. This prime real estate location, once highly sought after by businesses, is now deserted. The author noted that while dropping off a friend at Shanghai Railway Station, he deliberately wanted to check the underground passageway where online videos mentioned almost all shops were closed, thinking it could be just a rumor. However, seeing it firsthand confirmed the truth. Vendors of stationery, clothing, phone cards, and mobile accessories were all shut down. Each closed roller shutter concealed numerous stories of heartbroken small business owners. He mentioned that these 3 places are representative. Small shops in Shanghai Railway Station are owned by individuals. Larger stores in Hongqiao Station are run by mid-sized enterprises. The malls on Nanjing Road belong to large corporations and conglomerates. Currently, whether small business owners or large corporations, those who needed to close, closed. Those who needed to adjust, adjusted. And those who needed to run, ran. Is this the embodiment of Shanghai's decline? After all, Shanghai was once considered to have the best business atmosphere in China. After its publication, the article quickly went viral. Although it has been deleted, many netizens have continued to share and distribute it through screenshots. The post resonated with many Shanghai netizens who shared their observations and feelings towards other areas in the city. Some even invited the author to visit areas where out-of-town workers reside, stating, "Those places are even more desolate." In addition to Shanghai netizens, users from other regions also expressed their opinions online. Some suggested that Shenzhen, Chengdu, Wuhan, and Nanchang were even more desolate than Shanghai. If this is the state of Shanghai, then the situation elsewhere is likely worse. Shanghai's downturn is not solely the result of foreign capital withdrawal and the departure of foreigners. It is also related to the overall economic downturn in China. However, it is undeniable that the withdrawal of foreign capital has indeed dealt a significant blow to Shanghai's economy. This withdrawal is primarily attributed to the uncertainty of Beijing's policies, leading to lost confidence in foreign investments and consumer markets, especially with the recent enactment of the new Counter-Espionage Law, which stipulates that relying on spy organizations and their agents, or illegally obtaining documents, data, materials, and items related to national security and interests all constitute espionage crimes. Many foreign governments, analysts, and lawyers generally believe that the law's definition of espionage activities is overly broad, giving law enforcement considerable room for interpretation. As a result, many normal business and news activities may be classified as espionage, threatening related individuals with travel bans, detentions, or criminal punishments. Therefore, many foreign nationals in China are worried about potential restrictions on their business activities, and even threats to their personal safety.